Hello everyone and welcome to SaaS Global Forum 2021. In this session, we will see how to move the SaaS via contents using the REST APIs. Before we start our session, let me introduce myself. My name is Amit Chaube and I work for Core Compete as a senior consultant. I've been working on the SaaS and SaaS technologies for more than 7 years, and I have worked with the customer in the space of decisioning and decisioning modernization, compliance solution, and cloud analytics. In today's session, we will see the SaaS via content promotion process. What are the conventional ways of moving content from SaaS via? We will also be seeing how we can leverage the powerful SaaS via REST APIs to move contents from one environment to another, and we will do some hands-on demo. Before we start, let's try to understand what is the content promotion process. The content promotion is a process of making resource that exist in the one environment present, available, and usable in another environment. In simpler terms, what it means is when you create a report or a decision flow and you want to move it to your other higher environment, let's say SIT, UAT, or prod itself, you need to do content promotion. You need to make those resources available in those higher environments. The content promotion is a two-step process. First one is exporting the content from the source environment. The second one is importing those exported contents in the target environment. Now we will see what are the ways to move the SaaS contents from one environment to another. The first one is a UI way. When we use SaaS environment UI to export and import the SaaS via contents, the second one is the CLI way, where we use SaaS admin CLI to export the contents from the source environment and import it in the target environment. And the third one and the sophisticated way of moving content is leveraging the REST API, the RESTful way. We will see in today's session how we can use SaaS via REST APIs to move the contents from one via environment to other. But before we go there, we will try to see and demo how the other two, the UI and the CLI way works. The wizard interface or the UI way is when you export the content of the via environment using the SaaS environment manager. It's a two-step process. You export the content using the export option, and then in the subsequent target environment, you import that JSON content using the import button. Now we will see the demo of this. Here I have created a SaaS GF demo decision flow in my source environment, which I have named source.corecompete.com. I will open this decision flow. Inside this decision flow, I have used code files, rule sets, treatment and treatment group, and some branching nodes. Now I will move this content using the SaaS environment manager. I have logged into the environment manager. Now I'm navigating to the SaaS content tree where I have created all these artifacts. Now what I will do, I will export this df promotion DOM folder from my source.corecompete environment using the export functionality which is available there. A pop-up will appear which will ask me for the export file name. I will simply name it as df underscore promotion underscore DOM, and I will start the export process. Now let's go and see what is there in my destination environment. In my destination environment intelligent decisioning, which I have called destination.corecompete.com, you can see there is no decision flow which exists there. Let's move on to the environment manager of my destination environment. I move on to the SaaS contents tree and move inside the SaaS contents folder. And you cannot see the folder named data engineer team. And meanwhile, my process has completed, and let me save the file. I move to the file. I have opened the file location where I have downloaded the exported contents. I move to the SaaS environment manager of the destination.corecompete.com. Use the import option to import my decision flow. I will simply select the JSON file. I will open it, and it has started my import process. It has uploaded the package contents, all my rule sets, all my folders, all my treatment and treatment group. Let's move on to the third step, which is finish, and I will click the import button. Seems like my import is completed. You can see there were 49 tasks. All of them have been completed successfully. All the folders, all the artifacts under those folders have been imported. I'll refresh my SaaS contents tree. Now I can see the data engineering team folder. I'll go inside, I can see my decision flow folder. And inside that, I can see all my subfolders. I can see my decision flow itself in my destination.corecompete.com. This concludes my UI way of moving contents from one environment to another. Now let's move on to the second way, which is the CLI way. How we can use the SaaS transfer plugin, most commonly known as SaaS admin CLI, to export the content from one environment to another. It's a 4-step process where we have to export, download, upload, and import the content. Now we'll move quickly into the demo of it. Here I have created a visual analytics report, which I want to move from my source.corecompete.com to my destination.corecompete.com, which is a different VIA environment. I'll move on to the SaaS environment manager. Inside the SaaS content tree, I've saved my report under the SaaS GF VA report folder. I'll select my report. I will go and copy the URI of this report. The URI stands for Unique Resource Identifier, which exclusively points to my reports. In my target environment, in my destination.corecompete.com, I do not have that specific folder. Once I have copied the URI, I log into the SSH into my SaaS admin CLI machine and navigate to the library or to the directory where my SaaS admin CLI resides, which is inside OPT SaaS via home/bin. Now I am trying to authenticate my user ID for exporting and importing content, which I'm using the auth login commands. I'll provide my user ID, SaaS LDAP, and then it will ask me for my password, which is a top secret, and my login is successful. Now I will try to invoke the SaaS admin CLI transfer command to move my contents or export my content from my source environment. For exporting, I will use the keyword export, and I will provide the resource URI, which I have copied for my file, for my VA report. I've pasted it here, and my job is executing. This job will provide me with a package ID, which then I will use to download the content. I will use the SaaS admin CLI transfer, and this time I'll use the command download to download my UI, and I will use the ID which was generated in the export step. I will simply provide the file option where I want to download this JSON file, and I will name my VA report as VA report.json inside root/00 export folder. My export has been successful. Now I have logged into the destination.corecompete.com machine. I will simply move on to my folder where I have already imported this file or uploaded this file inside the root/import. I will now navigate to the directory where my SaaS admin CLI resides, which is opt/SaaS/via/home/bin. Now I will authenticate myself by using the auth login command. And my login is successful now. Now I will use the SaaS admin CLI transfer command to upload my JSON from my /root/import directory. I will use my profile AC1, which I have authenticated just now. And I will use the option upload this time to upload the contents. I'll provide the file location which file I want to upload, and it resides inside /root/import/va report.json. This will provide me with the output. Now I'll use the SaaS admin transfer command to import the content which I've just uploaded. In the ID, I will provide the ID which was generated in the previous step. My task have been completed. My report have been imported. Now I'll move to the environment manager of the destination environment. I'll refresh the tree, and now I can see the SaaS GF VA report folder, which is there. Now I'll move to the visual analytics of my destination.corecompete.com, and I will try to open this report, the alert prioritization. And here it is. So my report has been moved to my destination.corecomplete.com environment using the command line interface. Have you faced any situation where you do not want to use these two conventional methods? Or you have a customer who is unwilling to use neither the CLI nor the environment manager to move the contents? Well, we have faced this issue. And the answer to this is the SaaS via REST API. You can call these API from your custom built application or from the third-party tools like Postman or curl and do the content promotion. But before we move there, let's try to find out what is an API. API stands for Application Programming Interface. It's a set of definitions and a protocol that allow the technology products and the services to communicate with each other. If you're a beginner programmer, you may be wondering what the definition of API is. In simple words, an API allows your application to interact with the external services using the simple set of commands. API acts like a building block, allowing developers to develop applications much faster than they anticipate. In simpler words, let's try to understand what is an API again. When you go to a restaurant and you want to order food, you call the waiter. The waiter comes to you, you give them your order, and you are allergic to nuts. And you specifically tell the waiter not to put nuts in any of the dishes that you have ordered. The waiter takes your command and goes back to the kitchen, talks to the chef, and gives them the instruction not to put nut in any of the dishes that you have ordered. The chef then prepares the dish, hands it over to the waiter, and then waiter comes and delivers the dish to you. In this process, you really don't need to know how the chef cooking your food or what different ingredients are going inside your food. The only thing that you're concerned about is how your food tastes, and it should not have the nuts that you're allergic to. In this case, the waiter acts like an API. You simply give your request and provide the set of commands, and you're not bothered how that request is fulfilled. The API simply delivers you the result that you are interested in. Now let's find out what is a REST API. The REST stands for Representational State Transfer. Many of the people think that REST is a protocol, but it's not. It's a set of architectural principles. In simple word, REST APIs allows two software programs to communicate with each other without knowing how they process their request. The primary advantage of the REST API is it offers more flexibility and provides instant access to the result that you are interested in. There are 4 different types of API actions in context of REST APIs. The first one is the GET request, which requests the data or the action from the server. The POST request, which makes the new information, which sends the new information to the server. PUT request, it makes changes to the existing data on the server. And delete request, it removes the existing information which resides on your server. We will use these 4 different types of API actions to move the content. In our case, we will mostly be using GET and POST request. Now let's try to answer what are the SaaS via REST APIs. So SaaS via is also built or organized around the REST API principles. The SaaS via REST APIs helps to create and access the SaaS resources using any client technology. It could be your curl, it could be the tool like Postman, or you can call these API using the application that you have built using Java or Python. To know more about the SaaS via REST APIs, I will recommend you to go and visit developer.saas.com/apis/rest. Now let's see how we can use SaaS via REST APIs to promote content. It's a 4-step process. First, we need to export the content using the POST request. Then we will download the exported JSON using the GET request. Then in the target environment, we need to upload this JSON using the POST requests. Once the JSON has been uploaded in the SaaS via target environment, then we need to import this using another POST request. Now let's move on to the hands-on demonstration of how we can use SaaS via APIs to move contents. In this demo, I will be using SaaS Visual Analytics report that I have created in my source.corecomplete.com environment. And I will also be transferring SaaS GF demo that I have built. Both these artifacts do not exist in my destination environment. I will be using Postman tool to call the SaaS via REST APIs. I will be hitting the endpoint /transfer/export job. And for authorization, I will be using OAuth 2.0 token. These token I have generated previously. If you are not aware of how to generate these tokens, there is an article on blog.sas.com. I will use the header, accept, and content type as per the developer.sas.com documentation for export jobs. In the body, I will give the name of my export job as export job underscore 100, description as demo underscore SGF 2021. And in the items, I need to provide the URI of the objects that I need to export. In this case, I will provide the URI of my decision flow folder, which contains all the underlying rule sets, treatment groups, etc. I will also be providing the URI of my SAS VA report that I need to promote to my destination environment. Once I have provided these items, now I'll simply hit the send button. I'm sending a post request to the transfer/exports job endpoint. This request has been successful. I've got the status of 202 accepted. You can see I'll copy the get request of this URL to see the status, whether my export has been successful or not. I'll simply use the authorization as OAuth 2.0. I will paste the link that I've copied, and I will hit the send request. In the response, I can see that my status is now completed, and it has given me a package URI. I will copy this package URI, and I will hit the source environment with a get request. Again, for the get request, I will use the authorization token OAuth 2.0. I will give the appropriate headers, and I will hit the send button. What I get as a response is the JSON, which contains my artifact, basically my SAS intelligent decisioning decision flow and my visual analytics report. I will save this response file. I can give any name that I want. In this case, I'll give SGF underscore 2021 underscore demo.json. Now this is my export job is completed. Now, in order to upload the content or move the content to my destination environment, I will now generate the OAuth token for my destination environment, which I've already done in this case. And I will hit the endpoint of /transfer/package with my post request. In the body, I will simply provide the key as file, and I will select the package that I've downloaded in the previous step. In the headers, I'll provide the appropriate headers as per the documentation on the SAS website. Then I will press the send button. My request has been created, and I have got the 201 created message. I will copy the get link, and I will provide it in the second request body. Here, in this case, the name that I want to provide could be the same of the export job that I created. And in the package URI, I will simply copy the URI that was generated in the previous step. In the authorization, I'll select OAuth 2.0 token, enter my access token in there. In the headers tab, I will provide the appropriate header, which in this case is application/vnd.sas.transfer.import.job plus JSON, and an appropriate header type for the content type. And I'm ready to hit again the send button. Once I have posted this second request to import my content in my destination environment, I can see the error count is 0 and my status is pending. I will copy this get status request from the body, and I will hit this on my destination environment to see whether my import job has been completed successfully or not. And the response that we have got is completed. So my import process in my destination environment is completed, I'll move to the environment manager of my destination environment, which is destination.corecomplete.com. And I will refresh my SaaS content tree. Here I can see the data engineering team and the SaaS GF V8 demo folder. Inside that, I can see my report, which has been imported in my target environment. In the intelligent decisioning of my destination environment, I'll reload the page. Meanwhile, I'll go to the visual analytics and then try to open the newly imported report. I can see the folder here, and I will try to open the report in my destination environment. Meanwhile, I can see my SaaS GF_demo1 decision flow has been successfully imported in the target. I can open and I can see my decision flow with all the artifacts inside it. Similarly, I can see my report. This completes my demonstration. Thank you very much for your time today. If you want to know more or if you have any question, please reach out to me at amit.chaube@corecomplete.com. And if you want to know what CoreComplete can do for you, feel free to visit at www.corecomplete.com. Thank you.